One of Majora's Mask's most defining qualities is its in-game 3-day cycle. As you might know, in traditional gameplay, you begin off on the dawn of the first day and are tasked with completing the main quests of the game before you save your game and reset using the Song of Time. Failing to do so results with having the moon crash at the end of the 3rd day, causing you to lose all of your progress within that cycle. There's actually 2 times in normal gameplay where you break out of this traditional 3-day sequence, and that is in the final credit cutscene of the game where the text Dawn of a New Day appears, and during the moon crash cutscene at the end of the 3rd day. It should be no surprise that the majority of the game's functionality actually relies on the game's built-in in-game time mechanic, as NPCs, quests, and core mechanics of the game function almost entirely off of it. Breaking out of this basic 3-day cycle would cause lots of unintended side effects, and in Majora's Mask fashion, it is entirely within the realm of possibility. Let me introduce you to some of Majora's Mask's oldest and most notorious glitches. Outside of the traditional 3-day cycle exist 2 extra days, Day 0 and Day 4. Let's first talk about the 4th day. Typically, when the moon crashes at the end of Day 3, the day is incremented to 4, and you are warped to the Termina Field exit in order for the moon crashing cutscene to play. However, if you interrupt this warp with the use of something that overwrites this exit, for example exiting the telescope and observatory, finishing the Southern Swamp boat ride before the moon crashes, or any other forced method of setting Link's exit, it'll interrupt the sequence from playing properly, and you're able to have control during the 4th day without the moon crash cutscene playing. This has numerous strange side effects on the game. The moon is shrunk down to be super small in the sky, the happy mask salesman doesn't know how many hours are left, NPCs are not loaded, time-based actors aren't loaded such as the Watchtower in South Clocktown and the void triggers in the Woods of Mystery, and waiting out for a night transition shows the text Dawn of a New Day. Just as an aside, there was an old theory that because the moon is shrunk down in 4th day, it somehow was a remnant of an old concept of Majora's Mask having a 7-day cycle instead of 3, but this is entirely likely to be untrue, because 4th day does serve an actual purpose in the base game. I believe the moon was probably actually shrunk down on purpose to prevent it from being visible in the moon crash cutscene, as that cutscene does kind of pan around and it would probably be visible if it wasn't shrunk down. But hey man, that's just a theory.
Alright, back to crack.
The 4th day glitch unfortunately doesn't really have a use in a speedrunning context, as all it could really be used for is giving yourself another day to complete some task in a cycle, which is essentially entirely overshadowed by the day reset glitch, a glitch that allows you to restart whatever day you were on. The 4th day is kinda cool, but it's also kinda useless. So let's talk about a day that's much more interesting and much more useful. The 0th day glitch is one that is actually only accessible in the English version of the game, and the Japanese GameCube version of the game. I could seriously make an entire video on this version, it's super weird, but that's a topic for another time. This is due to the fact that saving at an owl statue is exclusive to these versions. Shoutouts to the poor citizens of Japan who had to do every single cycle in one sitting. You will be remembered. The 0th day glitch is performed by saving at the Hidden Owl, the name dubbed to this traditionally inaccessible owl statue in West Clocktown that exists solely to sell the illusion of moving between West and South Clocktown. By doing this and loading your save, you perform a glitch known as Mayor Warp, as you appear in the first entrance in the internal list kept by the game, the Mayor's Residence. If you then perform another glitch known as Song Storage, store the Song of Time, activate and press yes on the text box, you will be on the 0th day. This day, similar to 4th day, also causes NPCs and time-based actors to vanish. However, it also has some actually useful applications. For example, if you perform this glitch in the Romani Ranch, the aliens are instantly defeated, and allows you to obtain the Romani's mask without ever needing the bow. There's one really interesting effect of 0th day. Whenever you select the yes option on the Song of Time text box, your file's save information is copied, and 41 frames later is copied back to your current save. This has some very useful applications. For example, if you use a transformation mask quickly after pressing yes, this allows you to transfer certain properties from one transformation to another, allowing you to do things such as use the Great Fairy Sword as Deku. This is a form of restricted items, a glitch that suddenly became a lot more important over the last few weeks. By doing this, you can do some cool things like shoot elemental arrows as Deku Link without ever having acquired the bow, or perform another crazy glitch called Goron Missile. This means that you can do things like beat Goat without ever acquiring the bow, or flip Stone Tower Temple without the bow. Something that is vital to one of Majora's Mask's coolest speedruns, Reverse Dungeon Order, which I showed at the beginning of this segment. This is a speedrun where you must enter and complete every single dungeon in the opposite of the intended order. This state restoring effect of 0th day also has a really interesting effect, 0th day warping. This effect allows you to reload your previous entrance instead of reloading a new one, or even load the first entrance of the current area. This can even be taken a step further and allow for 0th day wrong warps. When you normally enter generic grottos, the game stores the scene you exited from, as well as your coordinates, so that it can properly place you in the right spot when you exit the grotto. However, if you use 0th day's state restoring effect to prevent your entrance value from changing while you exit a grotto, you get placed back in the grotto map with the coordinates saved on the map that you entered the grotto with. This allows you to access other generic grotto entrances on the grotto map, similarly to a void warp. You can also use this with cutscenes to warp to a cutscene that takes place on the map, and was one of the original theories behind warping to the credits. Day 0, like Day 4, also occurs in natural gameplay, as you're at the end of Day 0 in the introduction sequence of the game before the dawn of the first day text appears, which is further proof that Day 0 and 4 being a part of the 7-day cycle is stupid and wrong. Seriously, this is like our version of Mario 64 Cosmic Ray Bitflip, and it drives me insane, dude. Unfortunately, due to the limitations of 0th day, it does not currently have any uses in any of our main speedrunning categories. However, as mentioned prior, it has some incredibly important and interesting uses in other extension categories. So that's Majora's Mask Secret Days. I think that these glitches are really overlooked in modern Majora's Mask speedrunning, but they serve as some of the most interesting quirks of Majora's Mask. Hopefully they one day will find a more important use in speedrunning, but until then, that's all for now.